Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for standing by, and welcome to the NASCAR Cam video teleconference. At this time, all participants are in a listen-only mode. In a few minutes, we will conduct a question-and-answer session. Instructions on procedure. Aubrey? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for standing by, and welcome to the NASCAR Cam video teleconference. At this time, all participants are in a listen-only mode. In a few minutes, we will conduct a question-and-answer session. Instructions on procedure will be given at that time. As a reminder, this conference is being recorded. I would now like to turn the conference over to our host, NASCAR's Herb Branham. Herb, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's NASCAR Cam video teleconference. I guess you could call it a doubleheader. We're in advance of Sunday's NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race at Pocono Raceway. That's the Sunoco Red Cross Pennsylvania 500. Today, for our first NASCAR Cam from Joe Gibbs Racing headquarters in Huntersville, North Carolina, we have the driver of the number 11 FedEx Toyota, Denny Hamlin. Denny's going to be with us for right about 25 minutes. At 2:30 or thereabouts, we're going to move over to Hendrick Motorsports headquarters in Charlotte. We're going to talk to Jimmy Johnson, driver number 48 Lowe Chevrolet. He's fresh off that big win Sunday in Indianapolis. So, like I said, first up we have Denny, who's sixth in the series standings. Denny, we're going to start off with a question from a fan. We got this from NASCAR's Twitter feed, and Chuck in Minneapolis is a fan. And Chuck wants to ask, what is it that drivers and teams can take away from Indianapolis, then apply to Pocono that might help them get to victory lane this weekend?
Well, the two definitely have a lot of similarities, but for the most part, you can, a lot of times people take the same race car back-to-back weeks between the two because the corners and your corner entry speed is about the same at Pocono as what it is at Indianapolis. So those are very similar. The braking, how much brake pressure you use is very similar, and what you need out of your race car to get through the short chutes is the same as like the tunnel turn in Pocono. So there are a lot of similarities, and I think that's why you always see the guys that run good at Pocono run good at Indianapolis and vice versa.
Excellent. Thanks for that opener. We'll go to the media now for questions for our first NASCAR Cam guest today, Denny Hamlin.
Thank you. The floor is now open for questions. If you do have a question, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad at this time. If at any time your question has been answered, you can remove yourself from the queue by pressing 1. If you're using a speakerphone, we ask that while posing your question, you pick up your handset to provide favorable sound quality. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you do have a question, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. Please hold while we pull for questions. Our first question comes from Kerry Murphy of The Final Lap. Please state your question.
Hey, Denny, thanks so much for being with us today. Can you describe for us and the fans exactly what happened with your shifter? I always envision that thing being kind of welded to the car. Can you talk about that a little bit?
What it looked like happened was the same thing that we had fail during the All-Star qualifying. When I left pit road, the drive shaft, the yoke of the drive shaft broke off, and that was a drive shaft that we ran all of last year. And then when we had that problem at Charlotte, we decided not to run them anymore. So we switched to a new style, but then at Indianapolis, we had a vibration during practice, so we went back to that old style, and it snapped again. So definitely haven't had very good luck with those. So what happened was the drive shaft came apart, came from underneath the race car, went up, hit the shifter, and broke it in half, basically, right where it fastens to the transmission.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Will Graves of the Associated Press. Please state your question.
Hey, Denny. Before Daytona, you said it's my fourth year. It's time to be a champion, not a guy that contends. If you look at it from that standpoint, I mean, how do you feel about this year so far? I mean, do you still feel that do you feel you're just contending, or do you think that you guys can sort of, make that next step in the next, 16 weeks, I guess?
I think we need to get, to the second half of the season, starting now and become what what I was talking about in the off season about being a guy that wins races instead of contends for race wins. Obviously, at the beginning of this year, we've had a lot of issues, finishing races where we should and when we have the best car, not actually winning. So we need to still work on that, and there's a lot of things that I need to do to help close at the end, and there's things that other things. Pit road, making sure we have our best stop at the very last stop of the day. There's a lot. It just takes a lot of good things to happen for to win these Cup races nowadays. You need to start qualifying better. As hard as passing has been in Indianapolis, it was going to take us all race to pretty much come from where we were, which we started right around Jimmy, to get to the front. So we need to qualify better. There's a few little odds and ends we need to work on, but we're still not to that level that I think we need to be at.
And I'm just kind of curious, JD said after the race on Sunday, I guess he was outside Kyle's trailer hauler, he said, we might not have the best stuff right now. Do you get to say, but he felt the off week there had been some progress. I mean, are you guys, do you get the sense you're heading in the right direction?
Yes, we're definitely heading in the right direction. We're getting closer, but I mean, week in, week out, it's a Hendrick car winning. One way, shape, or form, it's a Hendrick car that's winning. And they're pretty much shaking up all the top 5 spots, to be honest with you. So it's, we feel like we've got a tall mountain to climb, but we're almost there. I feel like, we're 3/4 of the way there right now. I feel like we're the closest competitors to those guys on a weekly basis. So, I mean, even though we're a little behind, we're still not too far away, and we can get there by the end of the year.
Thanks.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Pete Schnatz of the Philadelphia Inquirer. Please state your question.
Hi, Denny. I wanted to ask you about your program where you give away the tickets to NASCAR fans. I wondered what inspired you to do that, and have you had any interaction with the winners during the season?
Yeah, actually this week, as a matter of fact, I got a letter back from the winning fans, and they were just excited. You wouldn't believe, after reading their letter, just seeing, how excited they were. The seats were great. They were just amazed at, how good the seats were, and that, they were very grateful for those tickets. And it's definitely reached the right group that I was trying to reach at the beginning of the season with this whole ticket program. And we've been able to give away a lot of seats, at least 4 a weekend, sometimes 8, sometimes even more than that, if the tracks participate and chip in as well. But it's definitely working, and it's a program I plan to keep working for years to come.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Bill Fleischman of the Philadelphia Daily News. Please state your question.
Hi, Denny. I guess as long as you come back to Pocono, you'll always be asked about your rookie year there, winning both the races. Could you just reflect on that a little bit? I mean, I don't know how often you think about it when you come back to Pocono, but it was a pretty remarkable thing.
Yeah, I mean, when we went to the car tomorrow, we kind of lost our edge at that racetrack that it seemed like we had with the older car. But we've always been competitive there. Never got a shot. It seemed, at the very first lap had the fuel pump issues this year. But, really just, we always just run well there. I think it's a racetrack that it just kind of tends to my style a little bit. And, when we go there, Mike has a good feel for what we need in a race car at that racetrack. So I think it's just no matter what the car, we're always going to be competitive. It's just hard to repeat what you did in your rookie season when we had a car as phenomenal as it was.
Right. Okay, thank you.